place is fucking wrecked. Alaska, the last frontier. They say if you come to Alaska, what are you running from, or what are you running to? That was me in a homeless camp in Anchorage. Not a nice place. Scary, angry, evil. One of the worst places I'd ever been. And I've been to a lot of places. You know that. We spent 25 days driving around Alaska as part of a big road trip. And we saw a lot. Of course, we got outside of Anchorage, traveled around to some popular areas and some really random places, and met some super fascinating people. Alaska's weird, like nowhere I've ever been before. It's gorgeous, but the people here, they live a certain way, on their terms. And that's why I like it here. Now in this next series, I'm going to show you all about Alaska. Now some of you have been here before, so I hope I can keep your attention. But I think I will, because we found some crazy stuff. Alaska's just like your state. They have the same issues you guys have. They're just weirder up here. Random. I think you're going to love it. Kim and I spent about a month driving around the last frontier. Now, we're going to show it to you. Oh, look at this. Got an arrow. Oh my gosh. It is cold. That was it. The moment we got to Alaska, the 49th state, my 50th state. I've been to them all now. I think I read somewhere that 2% of Americans have been to all 50 states. It seems kind of high. Most people I know have only been to 20. But here we are, the Great Alaskan Road Trip. Came up here to send dispatches from our last frontier. A friend of mine, Karen, told me, almost everything you hear about Alaska on the internet is lies. Well, I'd heard a lot about Alaska. I heard the place was full of crazy people trying to hide. I heard it's a bunch of conservatives who smoke dope, liberals who pack heat, an untapped wild land where 2 in 3 people have weapons. Alaska will chew you up and spit you out, Nick. We're the Wild West. I think I got that vibe here.
I don't think that people here like to be considered a rest of a part of the United States. I think that they like to think that we're in our own country, in their own little world. And I think that is true because not only are we so far removed, but because of the way of lifestyle is very different. There is a lot of sustenance hunting and living off land and off grid, and people don't want to rely on the government. They don't want to rely on help. They want to be able to do things for themselves and not have to pay for it, or in some way or another, whether it's financially or dependent upon somebody. They're very independent mindset up here.
There's a lot of Alaska that isn't macho, skin of bear land. Most of it, actually. It's not glamorous here. But the reality of living here is a lot of people here live a simple life. They live life on their terms. A lot of people are broke. They got a huge problem with homelessness and drugs and violence and addiction. Somebody told me that Alaska is most unlike the USA of any other state. But looking around, they got the same problems we have. They're just a 40-hour drive away. Look at this. My God. This is an all-timer right here. Ooh. Look at this. Now all of this is in Anchorage. Almost all of the real world problems in Alaska are here. And I'm going to talk a lot more about Anchorage later in the series. There's a lot of drama here. And then once you get out of Los Anchorage, Alaska's amazing. Holy shit, there is an Alaska rainbow. Oh my God. What? Oh my God.
See the whole thing, Nick. Go look to the right.
You can. I cannot believe this.
Oh my gosh, I can see it through the trees over here.
Sure is pretty just about everywhere you go. There's more bears than people here. There's more salmon here than atoms in the universe. So they say. Kim and I spent nearly a month in this vast wonderland. We came in August, and that's the end of Alaska's short summer. Based on what we experienced, it was a really short summer. Everybody was saying, fall came quick, Nick. I don't think we saw anything warmer than 65 degrees the entire time we were here. We spent some time in the Kenai Peninsula to look at all the fishing villages. You're going to love that. We checked out MAGA land in the valley, where all the conservative, hardcore people are at. And then we drove the loop up to Fairbanks and back. Fairbanks is lame. And we saw a bunch of other cool shit in between. We even flew up to Barrow, the most isolated, actual city in the country. I think you're going to like that place a lot. Most fascinating place I've ever been. But you guys want to know about the drama? I know you. Well, crime, drugs, poverty, domestic violence, suicide, divorce. Alaska's in the top 5 in all of those. I know, right? Now, there's a long PDF that you can read on why that is. But the Nick version is, well, it's isolated up here, and people have addictions. The native population makes up about 15% of the state, and they have some major issues too. Alaska's been called, statistically, the most dangerous state of all. There's more murders per capita here than anywhere else. Well, outside of Anchorage, I didn't get that vibe at all. But stats don't lie. And the drugs, man, they're bad here. I guess the drug cartels realized, hey, we have a captive audience up here. They love our shit, and they're bored. And now drugs and booze, well, they've shaken up a lot of this state's communities. The economy here, it's shaky, and people are leaving. 11 straight years this state's lost people. Back in the good old days, oil money was flowing. But now we don't dig for oil as much, and so all the free money that everybody gets here, it's slowly going away. It's down to $1,500 a year now. They say Alaska's population might drop 2% in the next 25 years. Some say the population here is going to drop by 150,000, which would set the place back by 40 years. Well, there's all kinds of issues why. There's a big labor shortage here. And we can't find enough people to work to grow their business. A lot of that's because of the rent. It's high here. And childcare and food. So as it stands, 1 in 5 jobs in Alaska, they're filled by temporary workers who come in from outside the state. And some of them work here and they stick around, but a lot of them come here and work and leave. Now, for the middle class and the people that have good jobs, it's not that expensive here. Houses are about as much here as where you live. And they don't have an income tax. The only sales tax here is on the fun stuff. Booze, pot, cigarettes. There aren't a ton of jobs here, but there's something for everyone. Seasonal jobs are a big thing. Canning, fishing, construction, tourism. If you're in the military or a government worker or an energy worker, you're fine. They can't get enough doctors and nurses up here, so the healthcare stinks. And it's super expensive, like by far the highest healthcare costs in the country. They're even talking about making the doctors here pay an income tax now. Just them. That's not going to get any more doctors up there, is it? And because it's so hard to get teachers to move up here and work, the education system up here is always in the bottom 20%. You take all of that and you have to worry about a bear or a moose killing you. There is no forgiveness up here at all. So are you surprised to hear that this has been called the worst state to retire in? 735,000 people a world away. Now, despite all those setbacks, a lot of people are making it up here just fine. A lot of them are thriving. These Alaskans are tough, hardy, independent, problem solvers. They're proud. And that's missing in America these days, where lots of people like to complain and they want stuff handed to them. Now, politics-wise, it's pretty divided. Most of the liberal people live in Anchorage, and the rest of the state's pretty red. The biggest issues are about public welfare and energy. There's a lot of natural resources here, and that's pretty much what keeps the state going. Iron, copper, oil. A lot of people here aren't happy about that. They have the dig and drillers versus the don't disrupt the landers. Save the whales, save the earth. And the energy people are like, would you environmental people shut up? We're being careful. You think we're going to screw up our land and our own damn fisheries? Come on now. We know what we're doing. Pipe down. Anyways, people in Alaska argue about how much money to give the homeless and the poor, just as much as they dispute the type and amount of resources that the state extracts. For the most part, it's a very leave me alone crowd up here. Kind of libertarian-ish. Give me my guns and my freedom. Weed's legal here, and boy do you know it. They say the state smell is pot now. A lot of people here, they're not woke. Nobody really gives a shit what you do. Just shut up and do your part. Be quiet. Stay out of my way. Leave me alone. I think we need more of the Alaska mentality around the lower 48, but that's just me. Alaskans are proud to be different. They'd rather be weird than normal. They're Alaskans first, Americans second. It's kind of hard for them to relate to us. They're so far away. I mean, the damn election's called every time, and they haven't even had their lunch yet. They're friendly, though. They'll help you out in a pinch. And you'd help them.
Did you know that 1 in 3 people in Alaska wants to secede from the U.S.?
Well, I don't blame them, Appy. We're pretty messed up. And they're talking about adding unrealized capital gains taxes now. And we give migrants and homeless people more benefits than our own damn vets. We're not the place we used to be.
The problem is, we haven't had a good leader in forever now. I think Alaska people would rather fend for themselves than follow the leader who only cares about money and special interests.
Well, I think you're right, Mappy. I met a lot of people in Alaska that I'd rather run the country than some of the people that are in office right now.
I bet if a tough guy from Alaska were in charge, no one would mess with us ever.
Of course, it's all wonderful here to look at. There's no pollution or traffic or hustle and bustle, and certainly no frozen fish. Alaska's not all a frozen wasteland peopled by rednecks with moose in their pickups and ice in their beards. Not everyone here lives in a cabin. And the men aren't the only tough ones. The women up here are probably tougher than you, pal. I saw more women working on the sides of the roads doing tough work than any other state I've been to. Look, this place is big. It's like living on the moon up here. 70% of the population lives in only 2% of the land. 90% of Alaska you have to get to by a plane or a boat. There's only one person per square mile. And they say 99% of this state hasn't been touched by a human foot, and that's a lot. Look at this map. That's how big it is here. Let's just pretend there's nobody in Kansas or Missouri or Iowa. That's how isolated this is. You could choose to live here for the rest of your life and never be discovered if you wanted. There's a lot of secrets up here. We actually bought Alaska for $7 million from Russia back in 1867. Can you imagine all this land for very little money? Well, I'm sure Russia would like to have Alaska back now, but you can't have it, Russia. Too bad, so sad. Now what I'm going to show you in this dispatch is everything we saw up here, from the peninsula up to Anchorage and Fairbanks, fishing villages, Eskimo villages, and everything in between. I couldn't show it all to you. The southeast over here, the Panhandle, we didn't get over there. That sucks. But it's kind of like the Pacific Northwest. It's rainy and rainforesty and liberal. And then a lot of Alaska's west coast and down the Aleutian chain is mostly native villages, and we didn't see any of that except for Barrow. I was told there's some really rough villages where people live like they did 500 years ago, except they have TVs now and big bank accounts. Like this, but way worse. Well, I need to get out there and report back on that one day too. People don't move to Alaska to get their $120 a month in free oil money. They come because it's wide open, it's gorgeous, and they want to live a rugged individualism. And then they stay if they can afford it. Now I didn't come up here to show you guys bad stuff necessarily. Came up here to show you how wild and weird and wonderful this state is. I like Alaska a lot. Their people are sensible, for the most part. They live in a strange land that you've never been to before. The reality of living up here is freedom and beauty and isolation and extremes. It's not for everyone, but it's perfect for some. Well, hey, Nick Johnson fans. So YouTube's pushing this whole membership thing now, and I think it's great. So I set one up for this channel. If you want to be a member on this channel, you can only do it on your computer right now. They make it hard for some reason. So go and hit join right there, and you can support the channel and join various membership tiers. I'm excited about it because I'm going to post all sort of behind the scenes content, extra interviews, fun mappy stuff, bonus songs, and more. Just some extra stuff that doesn't make it onto the main channel. So think about becoming a member. Huh, everyone?
You should join. I did.
Are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting. That's right. I'll sit down and talk about where the next perfect place for you and your family should be. I do it all the time. Together, let's find you a new home that's safe and checks all your boxes. And I can also help you find your new house, too. Email me and I'll work with you on not just helping you figure out where to move, but I can help you find your perfect home, too. That's right. I know awesome, reliable agents all over the country, and I'd love to connect you to somebody who can help you search for that perfect home. And if you want to buy some Mappy gear, click the store link on my homepage. From there, you can check out the latest merch. There's hoodies, coffee cups, stickers, and shirts. Show off how much you love Mappy and support the channel. And I'm on Cameo too. If you want me to send you or somebody you know a personalized video message, go to Cameo and search Nick Johnson YouTube. It's fun.
Hey YouTube world, I'm Sage, Nick's manager. You've enjoyed a Corner House Entertainment production, so watch another one.
Hey guys, if you learned something new about America or what it's like to live in America, great. You should think about subscribing and turning on your notifications. You can also click one of these videos or playlists for more.